All right, welcome back to another episode of the Black Bullion Show for goldandsilvertoday.com. Check that website out, everybody. Got some great articles on there. So, wow, we had a great start this morning with silver breaking above $25 an ounce and gold not only breaking above $1925 an ounce, but also its 50-day moving average of $1924 an ounce. So let's see what happened today right now. So it looks like around 4 a.m. The prices for both gold and silver really took off. Afterwards, they came down a bit and then took off a little bit more, or a lot more, around 8 a.m. Now, we talked about what happens during the pre-market trading hours yesterday, so I wasn't going to hang my hat on that just yet around 4 a.m. However, when you factor in things like the 24-hour-a-day Forex movements, then that paints a little bit of a different story around 8 a.m. after the start of the pre-market at 4 a.m. And with such a move helping gold to break past its 50-day resistance level or moving average, which kind of has been establishing a resistance level, you know something big impacted that. So let's take a look here. And guys, where there's smoke, you always know there is fire. And as you can see here, the DXY has been beaten down like a rabid dog to the mid 92s. You know, it's just, and for those of you who don't know, the DXY, it's the dollar weighted against a basket of currency competitors. Its most heavily weighted competitor is the euro at 57.6%, and the pound is its third most heavily weighted at 11.9%. So keep that in mind for later. But generally, it looks like the dollar is continuing its downward trajectory as traders aren't currently raising cash right now. On top of that, today we had those spikes in gold and silver to the north side. Here, we can kind of find them as well in equal but opposite fashion during those same time periods. Take a look here. At the market open, you had the drop here in the DXY. Around 8 a.m. or a little bit after, you had a drop in the DXY as well. And then also you see a drop here as well. But currently we're just talking about the 4 a.m. and 8 a.m. Times. So it matches up with gold, silver. Well, I should say, well, hey, you know, because of those, you can see that where there is smoke, there is fire. Now, again, that doesn't just impact, or that doesn't just include gold and silver, it includes the DXY when you think about those basket of currencies. So here we have the euro, and you can really see where those spikes come into play. Now remember, the euro is the most heavily weighted currency against the dollar in the DXY, and this is in UTC time, which is about 4 hours ahead of Eastern Standard Time. So where it says 8 a.m. here, that's not the 8 a.m. that we were talking about for gold or for the DXY just now. This is the actual, this lines up with the pre-market time at 4 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is 8 a.m. and UTC. And then again, after 12, which would have been 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, you had the spike here in the euro. So you really see how aggressive it was during those times, getting up to 1.19. And as we know, that is a key resistance level for the euro. And we know that the EU doesn't like it spiking, or doesn't want it to spike above 1.19. So just keep that in mind as well. Let's also take a look at the pound. Now, it's a little bit harder to see here, but you can see a little bit of an increase around the 8 a.m. time, which again, this is UTC. So that would have been 4 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. After 12, you see the same thing. But I think the main takeaway here for the pound is that it's actually just been incrementally just climbing on top of the dollar here. Now that's key, because we've been seeing the dollar just just kind of climbing downwards in the opposite direction. Again, because traders are, trading, but also there could be something going on right now with the pound. Now, one of the reasons why the pound is doing what it's doing is because of this. The chief negotiator from the EU vocalized his efforts in wanting to make the necessary compromises with the UK in order to get a deal kicked off with them. Now, this came just after Boris Johnson, UK's Prime Minister, resisted additional EU talks. So it looks like the ball may actually be back in the UK's court. And that's not too surprising when you look at our handy dandy Brexit sentiment indicator. Brexit, that's a funny word. And that is this, the pound over the euro. Yes, in recent times, this exchange rate has been used as a read on Brexit sentiment. And just like I mentioned, the ball is in the numerator's court, being the pound. But, to be honest, we've been getting, we've been hearing about this talk between the EU and the UK with trade negotiations for so long, and the stimulus bill talks between the Republicans and the Democrats here in the US. It feels like we're being constantly led on here, especially on the American side. Now, although I love seeing gold and silver elevated to where they are now, keep in mind that much of it is due to traders not raising cash and being risk on in the markets. They are essentially anticipating some fresh fiat, just as we are. And, if it's signaled that in a very blunt way, we will not get any of that fresh fiat via the stimulus bills, and nothing happening with the stimulus talks before the election, then I say definitely look out below. Also, speaking of looking out below, we have the VIX here. The VIX has fallen drastically today, on top of the sentiment that we currently have right now in the markets. As long as we can keep this guy down, gold and silver will also have one less thing to worry about. But of course, volatility will be ever present until, and maybe even after, the election. VIX futures have also been rising along with the current VIX. So currently we aren't seeing any contango coming from that at the moment, which basically, if you don't know what contango is, it's through the lens of the VIX, it's when VIX futures happen to be a bit more expensive than the present value of the VIX. Now, that can be a problem for those who trade VIX futures based on what's happening presently. But right now, both are moving in lockstep with one another. So that's pretty interesting to see as well. So let's actually go back to gold and silver prices. As you can see here, I just clicked away and clicked back, and gold is now at $1929.43. It had a $20 increase today, 1.08%. Silver, 2% increase today, $25.22. Remember, silver's moving average, last time I checked, was 25.67. So we're in spitting distance away from that. But let's go down to some of these moving averages and take a look at what we have here. As you can see, gold did break above its 50-day moving average. Let's take a look at silver. Silver's moving average is at 25.66 now, actually. But again, we're in spitting distance from it. Also, we've been talking a lot about the silver to gold ratio on this channel from time to time. So let's see where we are there, where we stand. Let me just scroll down here. And it looks like we have been trending down, essentially. We've been trending down since the end of September, which is good. We were kind of, in the low 80s, and now we're getting close to the mid 70s. We're currently at 76.485, which is pretty wild, and pretty nice to see as gold and silver prices have elevated today. But again, guys, I'm still exercising caution, as I know trader sentiment can, be a little bit volatile during these times. But let me know exactly what you guys think about all of this. I'm actually going to move this up so you guys can see it. I'm not sure if you guys saw if my little screen to the right here, allowed you to see that there. Just going to show you golds again, just in case you didn't see it. Currently at 1930. Wow. And then I'm just going to show you silver again, just in case you didn't see it. So there you go. But yeah, guys, let me know what you think in the comment section below. If you didn't catch yesterday's episode where we talked more about overall markets along with gold and silver, check that out. I'll probably have left it in a card somewhere in this video. But thanks again for watching. Please hit the like button. Please subscribe if you're new. It's Black Bullion for goldandsilvertoday.com.